Before I start on the chapter soullessness, I want to tell you that it is impossible to not have a soul for any living thing. If you eat fruit or have eaten fruit, you have a soul. Fruit was the creator of the universe's promise that there will always be a way to find the Garden of Eden. Doesn't matter what kind of fruit you eat. Fruit's fruit, man. Soullessness. The presence of soul within embodied life implies its opposite. The presence of soul within embodied life implies its opposite, namely the potential for soullessness. To discuss soul without simultaneously keeping an eye out for soullessness in oneself and others, it is to fall into the shadow of soul. I have explained, not properly, but I will now, the shadow is the end of your soul. Your shadow is the end of your soul. So, and I've explained further about that in previous one. Anyways. When I see my shadow, all my energy from my body goes to my shadow and stops there. Now, how far my shadow will cast depends on the light that's around me. So how far does my energy flow or go? Depends on my shadow and how far away it can expand. When I feel that this person next to me is just evil in one way or another, it might just be as simple as selfishness because they've been given such a bad hand, they don't care about anybody else anymore. They just want to take care of themselves. So that's perceived as evil, but more or less it is a tactic of self-preservation or perseverance. Soullessness refers to the possibility of being cut off from soul. I got some more soul for you. Here's some fruit. Now they call alcohol spirits. I think it's not actually spirits because fruit is your spirit. If you want more spiritual energy to get rid of the negative branches of thoughts that are under the blanket of your soul, eat more fruit. So you can't lose soul, but spirits, why they call alcohol spirits, is because alcohol makes your spirit more translucent to be able to see. But if you drink too much alcohol, your hearing and vision go away. Pretty much all your senses disappear at one point in time. Some of them come and go as they want. Sometimes you can't see it, sometimes you can't hear, sometimes you can't. They come and go and fluctuate that way with the more alcohol you drink. So that's why it's best to drink 3, wait an hour, drink another, wait an hour, drink another, wait an hour, etc., etc. I don't prefer to drink. I don't like the way it tastes. And with the anxiety medicine I'm on, because of the soul psychology life of mine, I don't really think that's going to work well with the interaction. But if I do decide to drink, I will never drink more than 3 in a day, because it seems like the older I get, the less appealing it is for me to try to shower my soul with alcohol, because I know that it takes the myelin off of my axons between my neurons. And if my axons on my neurons are not myelinated or have myelin on them, then it is possible for more positive sodium ions to get into my neurons, and it causes neurological problems and addiction. And I rather would like my axons covered with this protective layer called myelin. But I do know that fruit is safe. There are a variety of ways to be caught by soullessness. Indifference to the soul's passions in oneself or others, or attending certain passions while neglecting others, are manifestations of soul loss. If I'm trying to get along with somebody and they just don't have the same interests, the person who's putting the more energy into having that type of relationship with them is going to lose their soul, and they're going to think that the other person doesn't have one, or any combination thereof. Or if you're attending to certain passions that are the feel good ones, but you know there are some passions you have to take care of. Example, I don't want to do another video tonight, but I'm unemployed and have nothing better to do. So I'm not manifesting a loss of my soul right now, because I'm continuing to do what my soul wants me to do, and is finish reading this article so I can move on to business. Soullessness is reflected in the inability to be affected. Worst case scenario, somebody takes a needle, jams it up my eye into my frontal lobe, and mushes up my frontal cortex to give me a lobotomy to where I no longer process emotions. I'm not going to react to something that should affect me. If I'm eating my fruit and you punch me in the face, I'm going to move because you moved my head, and then I'm going to continue to go back eating my fruit with literally no expression on my face during the whole incident. There are different levels and variations of how we can act that same way on conscious levels when things happen around us. And that can be perceived as an act of soullessness, but it could also be perceived as an act of defense, because what you're talking about is not making me feel good right now because it brings up bad memories. The inability to access and act upon the soul sensitivities. I really want to sleep next to Bobby, but she just won't let me. It's the sensitive subject for my soul, because I know that my soul will create energy sleeping next to her. Women are the center and the subconsciousness of sex, even if it's just cuddling, whatever. Because of that, women's bodies give our soul greater energy than any drug ever could. And it's a very sensitive thing. But if I can't access and act upon that, a hardened heart and a heart of stone are biblical terms for this phenomenon. Or like Bobby says, you have a lot of hate in your heart, don't you? I haven't been shown a lot of love. I've been spiritually beat down because of the things that are on my media. I get they weren't as professional as they are now on my website. I erased a lot of the gibberish that just wasn't as explainable as people would like. Guess that's my fault, sorry. But I don't feel that I deserved what I did get. And I think I paid enough for being an alcoholic and blacking out every weekend for 6 years during my marriage. Similarity, Native peoples recognize the condition of soul loss and the necessity of soul retrieval. I'm just going to say eat some fruit if you want to find your soul, man. You know, there are fruits that I've never even heard of. There are fruits I don't even know exist. Like, I want to go to these places that like have fruit markets and fish markets, and heaven forbid we have markets like that here in America, right? Like where people are hard at work and they've worked to their bone to get product for us to eat that are fresh and healthy, and we walk down the street at this market every morning to get food for the day. And sometimes we trade because we don't have money. That's the way. That's the way of life. That's the way life should be everywhere. But we don't do that. Anything that I want can be bought in a store. All I have to do is go to a meaningless job that doesn't exert any of my passionable ability within the consciousness of what my thoughts can perceive me to be able to do to help the community. And I just make money for other people by doing whatever it is I do at their job. And then I go get my paycheck every week, every other week, and I go to a store and I buy something that's been packaged. And we don't know how long it's been packaged. There's just a date on there telling you when it's bad. But if I go to a fish market or a fruit market or a vegetable market, they were picked probably the day before, skinned the day before. So I know how long they're going to last. I know they're fresh. I know they didn't put chemicals on them. And I'm going to repeat myself. I know we can have farming communities like the Asians do in America. There's no reason why I couldn't have a small farm in my yard. I have a big enough yard, and I could help out the community by feeding them. And I would do it for free. If I had the money, I would buy the pigs, cut them up, and give some food away. And I mean, I give my garden away all the time. Still have some left over from last year. But I can have micro farming in my yard, but I was told I couldn't have chickens. Even though there's a crazy lady down the street, that's what he said, that had chickens. But I can't. I would have chickens. I would grow eggs. I would grow chickens. I would kill the chickens. And eventually, for 5 gallons of seed, I could pay $5 from a friend of mine. I would give chickens to people for food. Because eventually, if I had a big enough chicken pen, or let's say half my yard, too many chickens for a single man to eat. So to start in the community, I would just give them away. I'd be like, hey, you want chicken? I'll show you how to kill it. We'll cut it up, show you how to skin it. I know how to kill and skin a quail, so it can't be much similar. They're different. Quail's very bad eating, though. It's not a lot of meat. Good, but not a lot of meat. Not worth the effort. But I can't do that. I'm forced to go to a store where they use oil to package my products. And they put chemicals from that's going to be unannounced places where they get these chemicals to preserve these foods, because I don't want to tell you those things. It's disgusting. You'd stop eating. The least they could do is start making packaging out of hemp. I'm not going to get into the hemp thing right now. People are doing that all on their own. But hemp and renewable energy can replace the oil and tree industry. And it's going to have to soon, or the planet's going to go through a 6 max extinction. The similarity, Native peoples recognize the condition of soul loss and the necessity of soul retrieval. I suggested eating fruit. and open-eyed meditation by putting your foot on your inner thigh by your pelvic and just sitting there hanging out. And just remember, if you close eye meditate, you're just going to see your feet as mirrors and a reflection of a dinosaur, which is going to be yourself. So no need to go in there and close your eyes, but you can stay outside and open your eyes and meditate and follow the yellow brick road and eat lots of fruit. It's good for your soul. Apathy and ongoing depression reflect an enervation of life's passion. I don't know what that. Hold on, I gotta look up inversion. I don't know. I don't even. That's a funny word. I think I gotta look that up. Enervation. It's got to be something about energy. Oh, it's just a feeling of being drained. I am so drained. I'm the best at being depressed. To get a little too personal with you, if you gave me a bottle of liquor and a gun, I'd probably shoot myself. Just because I can't fathom and understand why I don't live in an area like Asia where the communities take care of each other and have farms on their land and share and trade to eat their animals and their crops. I can't fathom working at a pointless job for an income that keeps me in poverty to go to the store and buy something that's overpriced, packaged wrong, and we don't know how long it's been sitting there. I'm drained. What keeps me alive? The fact that I know that one day what I say will be true. I may not see that day. I can't promise my website will be paid for after I die. But I know the YouTube videos will stay, unless for some reason YouTube goes bankrupt and deletes everything, or they decide they don't want the public to know what I'm saying. But it's pretty well organized on my website, and it's getting betterly organized. Once I get done with this article, it's going to be very organized, and I'm going to be able to be at so much spiritual peace from all the weird things I've heard on the media that I thought I could say something weirder that made more sense. And I can say things that are so weird you'll be scared, but they make sense. But just to certain people. The more the mental illness, the weirder things you have to say to try to get into them to get their soul out with some proof and open-eyed meditation and to teach them a closed-eyed meditation. Disassociation, which refers to a splitting in the psyche causing symptoms, is a clinical term that implies being cut off from the passionate life of the soul. When disassociation becomes culturally pervasive and comes to be taken as normal, there is a collective disconnection from the passionate life of the soul, referred to as normative disassociation. Doing this, what I'm doing now, videos, changing the planet, it's my passion, but I don't like it. I'd rather have a wife and kids, complete family, a mediocre income, and joy in my life than being somebody who has new information for the planet, or at least for Americans, or the people that don't understand imaginal psychology, because imaginal psychology is practiced in other countries. They just probably don't know how to tell us because we're so greedy here in America. And it's not really our fault. We've just been programmed that way with the Industrial Revolution, and mirrors got in our way. And then I'm like, well, I can't see my ears and eyes. And then the mirror shatters, and you're like, just me and my strawberry heart now. I better go take a drink of water and try to blow it out my nose. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. When we become disassociated from reality, the things that we own end up taking our energy. I know people that work harder sitting on the couch than those who work 80 hours a week. And that was to quote a friend of mine named Jesse. I no longer use my objects. They use me. They use me to stay around, and I just ping pong effect around them, distracting my mind throughout the day so I don't have to go to sleep. So I don't have to close my eyes and look at the TV that is my dreams. Because what's inside of those television stations in my dreams is nothing heartful, is nothing joyful, is nothing happy. That's what disassociation feels like. And it becomes normative. The soul gets used to it. We get used to putting our foot on our inner thigh by our pelvic and ignoring everything for the brief 20 minutes we can do that before our feet go numb. And then we go back to the same temporary pleasures of watching TV, eating, doing drugs, sleeping, sex, exercising, temporary pleasures. Everything that I do is temporary, except for when I put myself on video or picture, because it's always going to be there. Well, that's not even true, because stuff could get destroyed, but it's got a long, more lasting shelf life on a YouTube video than it does between a conversation between me and somebody who chooses to listen to me, instead of those who I apparently have been forcing to listen to me without their permission. Like, I just needed people to talk to. Started talking about vaginas, tampons, and I got fired. Now, I retaliated to organize my website in a professional manner to where people will get the proper information all organized if they so choose. I still do feel, Mr. President, whoever you may be when you watch this, these videos need to be mandated in a high school setting before students graduate. If you're going to try to prepare children for the outside adult world by only teaching them popularity, then you need to show them life's not pretty for everybody. I can be happy. It doesn't take much for me to be happy. I'm not doing these things to become a millionaire and world renowned famous. I'm doing these things because my soul tells me I have to. It's not what I wanted to do. Lifton's concept of psychic closing off and psychic numbing are parallel psychological terms for the type of soullessness considered here. Psychic closing off. that means I'm melting into my background. I'm going to absorb all my energy into this couch, and you're not even going to know I'm here. Psychic numbing is the same thing. Well, it's on the same line. I'm going to do a lot of drugs to numb myself from the harsh realities of the fact that I feel I could be doing something really good for the world or the community, but I don't have the money or the education or the looks because I wasn't born into the right family to do what my brain is good at doing. That is why in Asia, they have tests that show you what you're good at, and that is what you do, which is the way it should be. Think of all the major changes that could happen if we forced people to do what they were good at for a living. But money talks. Just like dinosaurs talk. I've heard turtles talk. They're very morbid. Money is a very morbid entity of imagination. I want to write that down, but I'm not going to. Money is a very morbid entity of imagination. And it is literally destroying certain communities and countries, mainly the United States of America. Observing the survivors of Hiroshima, he writes, I need some fruit, hold on. When human beings are unable to remain open to experience of this intensity, immersion in death, for any length of time, they undergo a process of psychic closing off. That is, they simply cease to feel. They have a clear sense of what is happening around them, but their emotional reactions are unconsciously turned off. I think that's a lie. I think people have learned how to consciously turn off their emotion whenever they want. Looking at a situation, I ain't going to see my kids till they're adults. So I don't care if I see them right now. I love them. But it has been so long since I've seen my children because of imaginal psychology that I have trained myself to not care because I don't know who they are. I don't know their personalities. They're not being taught how to think by me. They came from my testicles, but another boy is teaching them how to think. They're being raised by teenagers. One of them who won't close-eyed meditation, and I'm sure she'll see one of these videos about the fact that I showed you what closed-eyed meditation was, so now you can quit worrying about shadows chasing you in your dreams, lady. Like, I meditated a couple times while I was married. You kept telling me there was no spoon. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, you're making no sense. Anyway, sorry. So I'm not even mad about the situation. The point is that it's been gone for so long that I have shut off all emotions about my children because it's a defense mechanism that I have created simply because I can't remain open to experiencing a father-child relationship because it hasn't been around for so long. I'm not a dad, not a father. I'm not a mentor. I'm not even a babysitter, even if I got part-time custody. What, every other weekend for 1 month? What is that? 4 days a month I see my kids? That's not even parenting. Babysitting. This is why there needs to be rules within marriage, within childbirth. It should be illegal to get married if you've had children first. It should be illegal to have kids if you're not married. And if you do, you should get financially fined, property taken, I don't know, something. I don't agree with what the Chinese did, which is back in the day they used to kill one of the children. Like, I don't believe in that. There should be other punishment that could be done to say, hey, control your penis, sir. There needs to be rules and regulations about in-depth psychological examinations to prove whether you can stay married to each other for the rest of your life till death do us part. You want a simple answer on this, on how you know if you're going to last with somebody? Do they have the same eye dominance as you? It's probably not going to work then. Unless one or both of you have enough willpower to settle. Look up eye dominance. While psychic closing off refers to a transient process, when it extends over days or months into something more lasting, it becomes psychic numbing. The only times I have emotions about my children is when I dream about them. We'll be doing something funny or they'll be being sweet and nice. The only time. When I'm awake, I have trained myself to be nothing to them because I have been told by people that I am nothing to them. Not just nothing to my kids. I've been told to go kill myself. I've been told that I am worthless and I should just die and that I am crazy. So until people want to show me that they want me in my life, I'm going to keep the switch off. You know, you watch those vampire movies about, oh, you just flipped the switch. This is a different type of switch. I have flipped a switch on my emotions because nobody wants to see my emotions. So why bother? I don't care if I got 30 followers on YouTube. Nobody wants to come to my house, sit on my couch, and see my emotions. So why would I continue to exert them to people and show them? It's going to be, I'm going to end up numbing myself with marijuana. That's what's going to happen. Unless some miracle happens in the next sometime before July. But the lucky thing for you is I'll be done with all the psychology explanations before I get all retarded and stupid from being stoned for marijuana. So, like, you get what you want, and I just get to be retarded the rest of my life and just watch the world burn. Hopefully with a wife, but either way, I'm just going to watch y'all burn because you ain't going to get these messages until it's too late. That's how much faith I don't have in America. Change. The closing off process, a means of creating emotional distance between oneself and the intolerable world immediately around. Conditions like the vacuum state or thousand-mile stare may be thought of as apathy. Or what I like to say is when you're playing Mortal Kombat and your opponent's like this, is like, finish him. That's what I feel like. That's what my emotions feel like. I'm waiting for someone to finish me because I have been beat at my own physical match and I am waiting to be finished like they do in the game Mortal Kombat. Maybe thought of as apathy. I don't know what apathy means. Lack of interest. I choose to have lack of interest because there's nothing around me that people want to help me be interested in. Plus, I don't have the money to entertain. I don't have the money to entertain myself within my interests. But are also profound expressions of despair. A severe and prolonged psychic numbing in which the survivor's response to his environment are reduced to a minimum. Wake up, deal with life, go to bed. That's my minimum. I have no other choices to make. Often to those necessary to keep him alive. There are those that eat, go to the bathroom, shower, and sleep. My mom is one of them. She does not have the money to buy new lungs because she's not rich. Her brother, who grew up rich, her whole family is rich except for her. Her older brother got brand new lungs that were from an 18-year-old and lived and is perfectly fine. My mom can barely walk. She's on oxygen. She smokes cigarettes, probably because marijuana is not legal and because it gives her a little bit of a faster way to die. Plus, she's just addicted to breathing smoke. Nobody told her certain things about cigarettes when she was younger. She wasn't told that it raises your blood pressure. She wasn't told that it creates dopamine to get rid of GABA that's produced in your neurons and makes your heart beat faster and restricts your blood vessels and raises your blood pressure. We weren't told these things as kids. If I would have been told that, like I'd have been like, no, it's okay. Like, I'm fine. Well, maybe I would. I would have had a better chance if you would have told me the truth instead of telling me, "Oh, look at what it does to your lungs." It's like, I don't care what my lungs look like. I can't see them. Tell me how this drug is gonna make me feel. How is my body gonna feel? And I could go into explanations of every drug I've ever done and how my body felt, but I ain't gonna. You can read my book on my true story of my teenage life and exactly live what I lived doing those drugs. It's called Dinosaurs Don't Need Mirrors in Space. You can download it on my website for free, along with the other 4 books that I published. So I published 5 books, all downloadable for free on my website. And in which he feels divested in the capacity of either to wish or will. I wish that would happen. No, I don't want to wish that would happen. That will happen. So I'm not going to wish for something else to happen. My life has become so monotonous that I wake up every day knowing what's going to happen. No surprising events happen throughout my day that make me feel gold hearted. Nothing. I don't even know. It's been January 23rd. And that lasted maybe a week because she's not used to. She's not ready for a relationship. I don't know. So I need more fruit. At the far extreme end of the spectrum, soullessness can evolve into evil. Pure evil, like serial killers. I know why serial killers are serial killers. It's because every time they swallow, they blow the air out their nose instead of their mouth. So if I took a drink of water and then tried to blow the water out my nose, and then continued to always swallow even when I was swallowing air like that, like let's pretend I swallow, and then I blew the air out my nose. Unfortunately, I didn't really do that because I don't do that anymore for personal reasons behind my meditation. But I tried it. I tried being a serial killer. Every time I swallowed, I went, maybe not so forcefully, but I blew the air out of my nose after I swallowed for weeks. I didn't feel like killing anybody. Probably because I've sucked my own penis that I couldn't get away with becoming a serial killer, would be my assumption. And because I've sucked my own penis, I suck air in my mouth after I swallow. That's just a curse that I'm dealt with to deal with, like, whatever. So I even tried having sex while I was swallowing and then blowing air out my nose every time I swallowed, no matter what I was eating, drinking, whatever. It didn't matter. Every single time for weeks. And all it did was make my body feel, it made my skin feel the color of my eyes. And then finally, my brain kind of triggers up and says, dude, you do that again, you're going to blow up. So I stopped doing it. But like I said, I didn't turn into a serial killer because at age 12, I successfully sucked my penis. And that trumps the whole serial killer card. I don't know. But that would be pure evil. But apparently, which arises when the condition of soul loss is identified with and acted upon in calculated ways. I'm not sure what that means, calculated ways. As far as extreme as the or at the far extreme end of the spectrum, soullessness can evolve into evil, which arises when the condition of soul loss is identified with and acted upon in calculated ways. So I've got my ex-wife causing a piece of soullessness in my life because it's a bad memory. I've got the fact no one will hire me because of the way I speak, even when I'm speaking normal, as a soullessness part of my life. So I have these little jars of soullessness in my life that are all together around me. And somehow they all calculate together and arise to evolve into an evil person. I don't know how. I can't promise you I won't turn into an evil person, but I can promise you I'll never hurt another human being. I promise you if my jars get too many full of soullessness, I'll just kill myself. I don't have the compassion to kill anybody. Is that even compassion to kill you? I don't know if that's right. Like, I don't have the energy to kill anybody. Like, I hurt right now. Like, I sure could use some marijuana. My legs hurt, my feet hurt, my back hurts. My thoughts hurt at this point. Peck defines evil as the exercise of political power. That is, the imposition of one's will upon others by overt or covert coercion in order to avoid extending oneself for the purpose of nurturing spiritual growth. Peck defines evil as the exercise of political power, that is, the imposition of one's will upon others by overt or covert coercion in order to avoid extending oneself for the purpose of nurturing spiritual growth. Wow. Politics. The spirituality of politics. Let me explain that to you in layman's terms. I feel that I want you to do what I want you to do. I'm going to bribe you in one way or another, either in a negative manner. I may bribe you with force. I may bribe you with money or any other positive thing. Or I may get somebody else to get involved and act like an unknown third party that coerces you or convinces you to be on my side without you knowing that it was my idea that caused you to side with me because I talked to somebody I knew that you knew I didn't know. Or it was just a coincidence that it happened and you just changed your mind. Like, them are the possibilities. Them are the three possibilities of political trial and error. And that is in the STAR political, what was it? The STAR model is what I called it. Like, if you make a star, there, let's see if that senses out. In my last video, I talked about a star pattern political system will never work, and that's what we currently are in America. Okay, well, I can't get all geeky on any more of that, but whatever. You see my point that if you want to know what a star political system is, you can rewind. You can go to my last video, number 5, I believe it was. But yeah, it was towards the end. Like literally, the last 2 minutes was talking about the political star system that we so currently. That's the system we live in America. The government system is called a political star system. They just don't know it because I just invented it and explained why it is true. We got off topic, sorry. So the evil attack others instead of facing their own failures. I don't understand this. Like, why do I attack others because I failed? Like, you're speaking Greek to me, man. I don't even know what to say. Like, I just, if I fail at something, why would I attack somebody else? I'm not going to. The only way I would attack somebody else is if I felt like I even had the energy to voice my opinion about what their common sense issue was lacking. Which, by the way, the definition of common sense is how you carry your body movement around different objects at any given time. The more material objects you have, the more common sense you must have in order to organize all the thoughts that come with each one of those material objects. Meanings for being that object or whatever they do and why they do it. Spiritual growth requires the acknowledgement of the need to grow. Like, you have, let's just figure you have a fruit blanket growing out of your ears that is your soul. It's made out of fruit. So you got fruit growing out of your ears, and all the colors you see remind you of fruit. And the fruit grows out of your ears as a fabric type blanket material. And your thoughts are like branches that grow from this blanket that gets bigger the older you get, right? You can't stop the thoughts and the branches from growing. You can stop the fruit from growing out of your ears. You can stop the blanket from getting bigger and more knowledgeable, to be able to, the bigger the blanket is, the more you can organize the branches of your thoughts. But if your blanket's not very big, your branches are going to be the same size. Like, I don't care who you are from birth to death, the branches of your spiritual thought processes are going to be the same as anybody that lived to the exact moment they died. Thoughts are thoughts are thoughts, even if you're not thinking them. You don't have to think inside of your head to have a thought. There's always going to be a whisper that's in the back of your head that's going to be saying things. If you don't know how to communicate because you're an animal, you still have brain movements that create thought. They may not be as conscious as we are to be able to make proper decisions, but my dog knows if I threw my applesauce at him, he would eat that. After he probably is like, why did you wake me up? It would be his first reaction. And then I would say, Levi, I thought it was funny. That's my dog's name. So take care of your blanket so that you can organize your branches, or else the branches are going to get out of control and you're going to get top heavy. And then you're going to sink and fall down over and over and over again and feel the necessary need to use evil to get away with getting brought back up until the next time the branches break to bring you down to the ground again, to repeat as a vicious cycle of evil takes care of evil. And it seems like evil gets away with evil because evil takes care of evil. I have yet to be disproved that I think that's true. If we cannot make that acknowledgement, we have no option except to attempt to eradicate the evidence of our imperfections. Hold on, I need some fruit. I need to think about that. Eradicate, that's what I need to look up. Destroy completely, put to an end. So we're putting it to an end in this case. So if we cannot make the acknowledgement that our soul requires acknowledgement to grow, we have no option except to end all the evidence of our imperfections known to ourselves. If I do evil stuff and never mind the fact that it feels bad deep inside, then there is no evidence to myself of my imperfections. Other people see it, but I don't have to see it because I'm forcefully being evil to get rid of my own feelings of self-guilt and my own feelings of self-worth and my own feelings of just all the stuff normal people feel about themselves. And get rid of all that and don't have to look at it if I just force myself to be evil and not worry about the consequences of going to jail or getting killed. And a lot of people do that. Apparently. Got to be true, I said it. Plus, it just makes sense anyways. But I never wanted to believe that people do them things, but it says it right there. And I'm sure I could go find more studies about those things that make it true. A refusal to respect the autonomous, and unfolding nature of the soul in oneself or the other marks the slide into evil. If you refuse to respect what's wrong with you and how you need to fix it, you can either remain mentally ill and be fed suppressing drugs and emotions, or being fed emotion suppressing drugs, or why not just flip the switch and just become a hustler, become a criminal? It's easy. Because if I'm bad, I don't have to look at myself. Even though I know other people, and I know I'm bad because society told me I was bad. I'm really good at accounting. But look at me. I'm brown. I don't have any family. I don't have any money, but I'm really good at accounting. I spent a whole school in summer school in the library in detention reading about accounting, but I can't do those things. So I'm bad. All people of all color do those things. I am brown, by the way. That wasn't a racial slur. Like my skin looks kind of brown, so pardon me if you thought that was me being racist. I grew up actually wishing I would have been black. I was mad at my mom for the longest time because I wasn't black. But I'm Romanian, which our skin tone is more brown than lighter Caucasian. I really don't like saying that I'm Caucasian because I'm Romanian, and the Romanians were gypsy. And John Dillinger was played by Johnny Depp in the movie Public Enemy. John Dillinger was my great grandpa. He was my dad's dad. So I have gangster in my system. I don't know what nationality. I think he was Danish or Dutch, and then Romanian from my dad's mom's side. So I claim myself as Romanian and Gypsy, and I'm brown. I'm sorry. If you don't like me saying I'm brown, then don't talk to me. If you feel like you need to hit me because you think I'm being a smartass or I'm joking around, please. You got my phone number. You could find my address. Come shoot me. I'm brown because I want to be brown, because it makes my skin feel better if I'm brown. It makes me more calm. It makes me see reality as the same level as the trees that surround me. Brown is a very relaxing color. And it's just too bad that people have said that I'm white. You know why? I'm not white. Paper's white, even though original paper is brown or tan. See, I don't know if I should say I'm brown because I'm not like Mexican brown, but I'm tan or beige. I'm not white. Like this whole thing about white, like I practice closed-eyed meditation, man. I'm black from the head down. I don't know, like I'm brown. Can I say I'm brown without people feeling that I'm trying to be a racist smartass? That's all I ask. You see, I feel guilty right now because of this, because I feel that this is my imperfection, that I can't tell you I want to be brown. And I don't want to say tan or beige. Brown sounds cooler. I want to be brown because I'm not black. Sorry. I'm brown. Evil manifestations of soullessness can appear in the calculated strategy of control or possesses others. Evil manif... Sorry, you shouldn't be staring at my bald head. I'm sorry. Evil manifestations of soullessness can appear in the calculated strategizing in the calculated strategizing. Evil manifestations of soullessness can appear in the calculated strategizing to control or possess others. Can people really do those things? Like, can you look out into future choices and see how those choices are going to lay out just so you can say, ha, to somebody down the road through a bunch of different chain reactions that you caused that didn't directly link themselves to you? I ain't do stuff like that. Like, my brain don't work like that. I'm sorry. I can't. I can't plan and predict life like that. You're lucky I'm sitting here right now talking to you. Mind control refers to a broad range of psychological tactics that subvert an individual's control of one's own thinking, behavior, emotions, or decisions. Mind control theory illuminates this dark phenomenon. Given the soul's expressive nature, the need to control interpretations and expressions of truth are markers of soullessness. Additionally, lies and distortions of the truth, told to protect injured and vulnerable sectors of psyche from exposing and the light of awareness, are manifestations of soullessness. To my kids, you can fall in love with a rich person just as easily as a poor person. Stay tuned. I probably ain't doing another video tonight. This next one will be on the language of soul. And I want to repeat my ending. Soullessness can evolve into evil, which arises when the condition of soul loss is identified with the acted upon in calculated ways. And remember, you can fall in love with a rich person just as well as a poor person. And that doesn't mean money rich. It can, doesn't have to. When you hit a certain age, lots of us have to settle because we can't find our dream spouse. I'm 35. I have one girl that I had to let go to see if she loves me. Like, well, what do they say? If you love it, let it go. If it comes back to you, it's yours. If it doesn't, it never was. She's probably my last chance at not settling. Unless I do become rich, and then I just got people that want me for my money. But then what I would do with my money, I would go find people I used to know and say, hey, now that you know I have money and I'm not as crazy as you thought I was, do you want to go on a date? Because in the beginning, a lot of these women that were my types and really attractive gave me chances. I just didn't get to the point fast enough. And some of the things I said were off topic. So you can be rich in more ways than morbid money. Because money is morbid. Can I remember what I said earlier? Let me think. Oh, I can't remember. I hope that if you do, you type it down and I'll read it later. What was it? I didn't write that one down when I said, I hope I write that one down. Wait, did I? I don't think I did. I wrote something down recently. Oh, yeah. Money is a morbid entity of imagination. Money is a morbid entity of imagination. Money is a morbid entity of imagination.